Welcome to the Knowledge and Employability Online Product Walkthrough. This video will introduce you to these exciting new resources and show you how you can get the most out of these resources. Nelson Mathematics for Knowledge and Employability resources were developed to meet the needs of students who learn best from activities and examples that make meaningful, real-life connections between school, work, and their own experiences. The resources have been designed to support students by closing gaps and improving their mathematical understanding. By providing students with a foundation to build success on, students will become well prepared for employment or to progress into the apprenticeship and workplace pathway. Now let's take a look at the components that comprise the Knowledge and Employability resources. Nelson Mathematics for Knowledge and Employability consists of three components: an interactive whiteboard package, a student workbook, and a solutions book. The interactive whiteboard package includes ready-to-use interactive whiteboard lessons for each topic. These lessons provide interactive, hands-on learning and practice opportunities to engage students. The easy-to-use workbook provides sample practice and application of the skills and concepts covered in the interactive lessons. Problem contexts are based on workplace situations that students will encounter in real life. Each lesson includes a summary of key concepts and practice questions sequenced to build student confidence. The Solutions Book provides teachers with a copy of the student workbook with answers and solutions provided on every page. Now let's take a look at how the components work together and how you might use knowledge and employability in your classroom. Each chapter is organized the same way. Let's take a look at some of the tools available to help you begin a chapter, starting with a skills check. The skills check is a diagnostic assessment that is available to use at the beginning of the chapter. It enables teachers to assess their students' prior knowledge, identify gaps in students' prior learning, determine if there's a need for intervention, and inform instruction. The skills check offers 5 to 10 multiple-choice questions that students can answer, which will help inform instruction for teachers. Questions can be answered using smart response clickers, if those are available in the classroom, and answers are provided for each of the questions. Once the diagnostic assessment is complete, each chapter has a game that can be used to activate prior knowledge and set the stage for the chapter ahead. In this particular game from Chapter 5, students play Domino Duel. 2 students, or teams of students, click on the dominoes to randomly generate dominoes, and the team with the greater fraction gets a point. Game rules are provided for each game, so it's easy to get started having fun. Teaching notes for the chapter are also provided, including outcomes addressed in the chapter, background information for the teacher, a planning chart, and suggestions for remediation associated with the diagnostic test. In the workbook, each chapter starts with a series of warm-up questions that can be used to activate prior knowledge and get students thinking about the math in the chapter ahead. The warm-up is broken into 2 sections: words, which addresses the vocabulary, and skills, which addresses the prerequisite skills students will need to know to successfully start the chapter. Now that we've seen how we may start a chapter, let's take a look at what a typical lesson might look like. Each lesson begins on the interactive whiteboard with a "Try This" activity, which gives students an opportunity to recall and apply a prerequisite skill that will be necessary in the lesson. Try This activities are interactive, hands-on activities that allow students to become engaged in the learning and get them thinking about the math. These activities give immediate feedback so students know if they've gotten the correct answers and are good lead-ins to the instruction portion of the interactive whiteboard sessions. Teaching notes are provided for every lesson on the Try This screen. These teaching notes include the outcomes covered in a particular lesson, math background, common errors and misconceptions, and a complete lesson plan to support the delivery of the lesson in the classroom. Getting back to the lesson structure overview, the instruction portion of the lesson begins with one of 2 types of lessons, depending on the topic. Learn lessons are lessons where students follow instructions to solve a problem. Investigate lessons are lessons in which students follow guiding questions to build their own understanding and develop strategies to solve a problem. The lesson we're going to take a look at in this particular example is an investigate lesson. In this lesson, guiding questions to help students solve the problem are revealed one at a time by clicking on the Reveal button. Answers can be dragged out using the tabs at the side of the slide and matched up with each question to show the correct answer. Tech tips are provided to explain how to use the SMART tools for each lesson, making the lessons easy to use for teachers and students. Continuing to the next slide, the lesson continues with more guiding questions related to the same problem. The Talk feature provides a reflecting question to get students to think about and develop a deeper understanding of their learning. Answers to the Talk questions are always provided as well. Going back to our lesson overview, the next part of the lesson, following the Learn or Investigate activity, is a series of solved examples. Each lesson includes a number of examples that are based on real-life problems that are relevant to students and are hands-on and interactive to allow them to be engaged in their learning. The examples are flexible enough to be used in a variety of ways. Teachers can lead students through the example, or students can interact with the whiteboard to work through the examples with guidance from the teacher. The examples also cover the types of problems that students will encounter in the student workbook. This ensures students have been exposed to the important ideas before they attempt to answer the questions in the workbook on their own. Following the solved examples, this is where the interactive whiteboard package and workbook begin to overlap and where students begin to take control of their own learning. In the interactive whiteboard package, Your Turn provides an opportunity for students to answer interactive practice questions similar to the solved examples in the workbook. Your Turn also provides an opportunity for formative assessment built right into the lesson, as teachers have the opportunity to check whether students have understood and can apply the concept or skill. This gives the teacher an opportunity to clear up any misconceptions and provide feedback to students based on their responses to the questions. In the student workbook, students will have the same Your Turn problem that they can complete to ensure they have a complete example to refer to. Teachers may wish to have students complete the Your Turn section in their workbooks, then take it up using the interactive whiteboard. The Keep in Mind slide provides an opportunity for students and teachers to build a summary of key concepts and strategies together. Students complete statements, prompts, and examples by dragging numbers and/or words to fill in the blanks. Keep in Mind is also found in the workbook, with completed statements to ensure students have a complete summary of the learning from the lesson. The last part of the lesson on the interactive whiteboard package is the Do This section, where students have an opportunity to do some interactive practice on the interactive whiteboard using either Smart Notebook tools built right into the lesson or links to online video clips, activities, or games. The interactive practice activities are designed to give students the confidence to try the practice questions in their workbook on their own. The last part of each lesson in the workbook would be the independent practice questions. Ample practice questions are provided to allow students to practice and reinforce their learning. The questions begin scaffolded to help students build their confidence with the new skill or concept. So that's what a typical lesson would look like using knowledge and employability resources. Now let's take a look at some of the other tools available as you progress through a chapter. As you progress through a chapter, you may wish to review the concepts that have been covered. Mid-chapter FAQs and a mid-chapter review is provided to review the contents of the first half of the lessons in a chapter, and chapter FAQs and a chapter review is provided to review the contents of the second half of the lessons in a chapter. The mid-chapter and chapter FAQs consist of questions about skills and concepts, followed by an explanation and an example that can be used to help clear up any misconceptions students may have. The mid-chapter review and chapter review questions provide an opportunity to ensure students understand the mathematics halfway through a chapter and at the end of a chapter. These can be used with Smart Response clickers if they're available in the classroom or on the interactive whiteboard. Answers are provided for each of the questions. Finally, at the end of each chapter in the workbook is a self-test that provides students with an opportunity to self-assess their understanding of skills and concepts from the chapter. Now that you're familiar with the knowledge and employability resources, you may want to try a lesson out with your class. To access a sample lesson, please visit www.nelson.com/knowledge and employability. To find your Nelson sales rep, go to replicator.nelson.com. Thanks for watching.